Welcome to the ninth episode of season 2 of Overrated, second to last of the season. My name is Sujay, and I'm joined this week by Girish and Sid. And in this episode, we'll be discussing Despicable Me, starring Steve Carrell, Miranda Cosgrove, and Kristen Wiig, directed by Pierre, Coffin, and Renaud. First up, welcome to the show, Sid. Thanks for joining last minute.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so Sid just watched this movie again, so it should be fresh in his mind.
Yep.
So I'll start with where were you? So when I first saw this movie, a little backstory, but when I was in 5th grade, my class went to Washington D.C. like everyone else's class does, and we were walking around the Smithsonian, and there was these people who were dressed up as what I now know are minions, but at the time I had no idea what they were. And
they were dressed in full.
Yeah, they dressed in a costume.
What the hell?
Girish, they became minions, you know?
No, I thought they had a minion shirt on or something.
No, they were full on dressed as minions.
Yeah, what the hell?
And
okay.
They didn't have any signs saying what they were promoting or anything. So we were just what is going on? And so that was my first introduction to the movie, I guess. And over the next few months, I saw commercials with Steve Carell and my girl Carly Shay herself on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I didn't know she was a voice actor for this movie.
Yeah, this is her one claim to fame still, because she kind of drifted out of relevancy after iCarly and stuff.
Yeah.
But I see her every once in a while because Despicable Me was still going. Despicable Me 3 came out a few years ago, so I was like, oh,
is she the oldest daughter? Is that who she was? Okay.
Yeah.
I think I was who's the other one in this movie?
I could have sworn there was some reason that she stopped she wasn't a part of any, she didn't become a big shot actress or anything. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking of somebody else, but maybe I just can't remember what the exact reasoning was, but I don't know.
Yeah. But anyway, I think I watched this for the first time at someone's sleepover. That's what I remember.
This
pretty
is gonna
funny.
Sound, this.
You got it.
It's gonna sound depressing, but it's just the way I'm phrasing it. But it's one of the few father-son bonding moments I've had in my childhood. Not in a depressing way, in that this was one of the few events that it's just me and my dad went. Obviously we've done other shit together, but something was happening and my mom was out of town, my sister was somewhere, and it was me and my dad were bored, and he's do you want to watch a movie? I'm yeah, sure. And we looked, and we found Despicable Me at Blue Ridge Cinemas or something for it was some special night, so it was $2 admission or something. So me and my dad went and watched it in theaters when it came out. It was a pretty good movie. But yeah, I think I watched it again a few more times on TV after that. It's a pretty frequent TV movie. But I remember watching this for the first time with my dad in theaters.
It was pretty funny when you said that you were talking about your trip to DC, because that was actually the first time I watched it, when we took our school trip to DC. You know how they play the movies in the bus? So that was the first time I watched it, and I was I thought you were gonna say that, and I was oh wow, that's crazy.
No, because when I was going to DC, it was coming out that year, so I guess that's why.
Yeah, so you probably went the next year.
When you
I went the next year, so I think they had it. They just played it, and I was yo. But yeah, Girish is right. I've just every now and then I'll see I'll see it on TV, and I'll watch a couple scenes. But then whenever the ads come, I just kind of lose interest. But it's a phenomenal movie still.
It's on Netflix now too, right?
Yeah, that's where I watched it.
Yeah, that's where I just watched it.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Kudos to Netflix.
All right, we can use that as a segue to score it. So we'll start with our personal score. I say this every episode because we have someone new, but the metric that we use is that if it's over 50%, if it's coming on TV, you would just watch it and see a couple scenes. But I think it's pretty much above that point for me, at least. It's a pretty good movie. I don't think it's the highest that we've done this season, but I'm gonna go with a solid 73 C range.
Yeah, same. I mean, I don't think I'd ever pass up watching this movie on TV. Got some good scenes, good memes. So yeah, I'd probably say it's about a 70 for me.
I would probably go higher. I think it's just a classic, like CJ was saying, and Girish was saying, you always see them around, you'll see fans of the movie and everything. So I'd probably go 85-ish.
Okay, so yeah, from Rotten Tomatoes, they had higher than we did, but not as high as Sid. Critics said 81%, audience said 82%, so it was pretty highly. And this is some stuff we talked about in the Megamind thing too, but this is like one of the first like DreamWorks movies where it's like villain becomes hero. So I think that was the novel idea at the time.
It's the crossover with Megamind, because I think we talked about how this came out at the same time too, right? Which is why Megamind didn't get as much publicity. Even though it's a better movie, don't at me. But
yeah. But we can go then to let's talk about the plot. So just a quick plot synopsis that I came up with if you need a refresher. The villain Gru decides to pull the crime of the century by stealing the moon. He adopts 3 girls along the way to steal a shrink ray from a rival villain to complete his plan. But along the way, he grows to love the girls and ultimately has to choose between saving them and achieving his goal.
Felonious Gru.
Yeah.
The man's first name is a play on the word felony.
Yeah. But actually, like, I saw that the reason that that's the case is because on his like when he was like adopting the girls, that's what he put as his first name. So I don't even know if that's his actual first name or that's just what he put.
Oh really? Felonious Gru. I'm gonna believe that it is.
I mean, this is probably just because it's fresh in my mind, but I remember seeing like when I was watching it in like the background they have like this like family tree, and it's like the Gru family.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it has something to do with his last name. Yeah.
His last name is Gru, dude. His first name is Felonious, bro.
I was like looking at it when I was doing like trivia later on, but like there's like someone like micro-analyzed like every single name on like the tree and like, trying to write down its full like family tree.
The Despicable Me extended universe.
Yeah. We can talk about some memeable scenes then. So I had a few, so I'll just go in order in mine. You guys can fill in wherever you want.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of an underrated one that like I just completely forgot was in the movie, but like opening scene with like the kid falling on the pyramid. I thought that was funny because like I totally forgot that scene existed, and then like he falls off the pyramid. The guards are like, "Oh, there he goes." And, like there's this moment in the like when he's in the air and he's been like flying the plane the whole time, and then he's like in the air. He's like, "The plane's finally flying." He slams into his dad. So I thought that was pretty funny.
Is that supposed to be a reference to like the later on movie, or is it just the reference that the pyramid was stolen? I wasn't sure.
I think it's just the pyramid is stolen.
Okay. Because I was like, maybe that's Gru, but then I was like, probably not.
No. Next one I had was adopting the girls. So when he meets the girls.
The girls.
when he meets the adoption lady for the first time, he like pretending he can speak Spanish, and he says, "Your face is como un burro," and like that means like a donkey. And I thought that was funny. And then he's like talking about his dead wife Debbie, and then she's like, "Debbie was a lucky woman." He's like, "Who's Debbie?" So yeah, I thought that was funny. This is also the first indication of what a massive individual Gru is, because like this is the first time he put him right next to another human being.
So I'm gonna kind of jump off of that, but I showed Sujay this video, and I think Sid has too. But basically, it stems from the fact that like the canon height of a minion is like 2 to 3 feet, which means Gru is like 15 feet tall or something like that. And it also means that the girl who's like the oldest girl, Agnes, is the same height as Shaquille O'Neal. So that it must be something to say they messed up on their like official Minion website or like didn't think about it enough, but it just makes the movie a lot funnier when you see that girl and just compare Shaquille sitting right next to
the youngest girl though is like up to his knee. Like that's what it looked like in the movie.
Yeah, but like that's an average height for her, I feel like, because she's like a baby's 2 to 3 feet tall. I feel like I don't know. It's just so funny, the height once you think about it.
That is kind of funny.
Next scene I had was him stealing the shrink ray from Vector. There's like this one part where like they're in the tunnel or no, the air ducts, and like they're like, "All right, we need light," and so one of the minions just snaps the other minion's neck, and like he starts glowing. And I was like, "Oh god." That shit was wild.
I'm pretty sure what happened, like what I'm assuming like they wanted to do, because like they obviously didn't want it to be like very like crude, was like maybe the minion like swallowed a glow stick or something.
Yeah.
And like just activates it whenever, which is pretty cool in my opinion.
Really just walks into me, he's like
I know.
That scene, I really like the whole sequence of when he steals it, and like especially that one part when he's like hanging from the air ducts, and
Oh,
just like
yeah.
the geometry of like his pants like this, and then like him like this. It's just the
It's
whole
such a
pose that
tense
he's in.
scene. Like, all they are doing in the building, and then there's like that one part where the meme just like grabs his nuts, like when he's
Oh
falling.
yeah, I remember that.
And I
Yeah.
was like, what the fuck?
That's just such an odd position that they have him in, like hanging.
Yeah. And the fact that like these two memes can hold his entire weight plus that like thing that he's got.
Yeah, the shrinker is like the size of a human being, like at his scale.
It's like in a case and stuff. Must be heavy as shit.
Yeah.
But
I think we just got to go with the fact that size isn't relevant in this, or it's just not scalable at this point. Like, you just have to accept it for how it is.
He's just like Gru's a massive individual.
next one I had was the carnival scene. So this
I was
is when
gonna
he like
say that.
knocked
My
over.
Knocked over. That was my favorite one. Yeah,
He
just
basically almost like kills this dude and like destroys his livelihood over a stuffed unicorn.
I think the reason I like all these scenes is because Steve Carell's accent that he does just makes everything like infinitely funny.
Yeah, it's crazy because like I remember he does that like every now and then in The Office, and like it took me a while to actually piece it together that it was Steve Carell that was like Gru.
He does the voice in an interview. I think like someone
Yeah,
asks like,
yeah,
"Can you do
and I
the
was
Gru
like,
voice?"
I was like rewatching or something, and I was like, oh my god, like I wasn't even paying attention. I just hear that, I'm like, it's Gru, and I just like that revelation just like came into my head. I was like, oh my god, this is rocking my world right now, and I was just so shook.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was a good scene. I just like the ending. Yeah, it just feels so happy because like the dude was trying to scam him, and then Gru just destroyed his life. And
I think an underrated meme that like it's like very small, but it's just that the like who's the professor, the doctor who's like Dr. Nefarious, Nefario, yeah. It's I just think it's like super funny, even though it's like kind of lame. But it's like I need you to make the cookie bots, and each of them he's like I made boogie bots, and they're just like dancing. I know it's just a stupid joke, but like
I said dart gun, not
fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that was in the commercials a lot. Like I remember seeing that like scene vividly in commercials, and
I think
like that would be the scene after like they say "Despicable Me," and then like
the Minion spoof of Barbara Ann, like the Banana song.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
little acapella. That was the one I saw a bunch because it's a spoof of like an actual song, Barbara Ann, which sounds like banana. Yeah.
Bro, I used to sing that song all the time.
Sid was one of those Minion kids who's like,
Dude, for sure. I didn't even like. I just remember just playing that video every now and then in middle school. Like,
I mean, it's a catchy video.
it got so much hype over like no reason, but it was just so popular.
Next two scenes I had were like actual like memes from the movie that like happened. There's like Gru's presentation when he has like him sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
Can I sit on the toilet? I sit on the toilet.
Yeah. I think there's like this one really funny line that comes right after that when they're like, "Can we get pizza?" And he's like, "What?" And then she's like, "Can we get stuffed crust?" And he's like, "I'll stuff you on the crust." It's just pretty funny.
Yeah.
And then like right after that, when they're like talking about how they have to fund this themselves, and he's like, "In terms of money, we have no money." I've seen that a lot recently in memes.
Yeah,
like when they'll do like, "In terms of blank, we have no blank." But yeah.
But then he like pulls funding from like his like pocket change. Just another indication of how massively wealthy Gru is.
Last scene that I had was Gru going into Vector's house like at the very end. Dude, it was like man was dodging missiles and like punching sharks like it was nothing. Like where was this the first time he was breaking into the house?
Straight Indian movie vibes.
Yeah.
Like actually.
From that same video, I think that you showed me, where
he
like,
does the calculations.
dodging missiles, and
it's like
going.
It's like here is that. It's like after these calculations, here is that scene in real time, and it's like a half a second long.
Yeah.
So I would say another meme quote or meme scene that I thought was pretty popular was the one where like you talked about the presentation where he does that, but like the one where he actually like is in front of all the minions and they like. He like rises up on the platform and he's like, "We are going to steal the moon." I thought that was so funny.
Yeah,
like that. I've seen that a lot.
Pause for effect.
I love the I love the premise that his evil plan is to steal the moon, and like you know you gotta like throw out science out the window and like there's like these inventions like this, but like even Gru, like I found it hard to believe that they completely ignore the fact that Gru just didn't learn that one, the moon's not that close, and two, he takes it out of orbit for like years, or like for like a couple minutes, and like the Earth would be gone at that point, like if he just took the moon away. But yeah, I thought that was it's pretty something you have to overlook. I thought it was kind of funny.
I mean, it is pretty cool that, we just finished Avatar and Avatar
Oh,
Zhao tried
hey,
to steal the moon.
spoilers,
He tried to
spoilers.
kill the moon. Bro, it's not a spoiler if it's been there for like 15,
Yeah,
20
it's a
years.
10-year-old show. Like,
Yeah,
Just make sure.
but
man.
that's a pretty cool cool balance between those connection between the two.
I think there's actually a meme about that where it's like just Zhao's face on that Goo meme. It's like,
yeah, I
we're
made that
going
meme in
to
the
st-
reaction
yeah,
video.
yeah.
But
No, but yeah, that was.
any other memeable scenes you guys have?
I think
Um,
not really. I think you hit most.
I mean,
of
every
the
now and
memes.
then I get like when I was watching it, like obviously whenever the minions come up, I feel like anytime the minions pop up, it's a meme. Like especially
Yeah,
when they
there's
went
a
to
lot
the
of-
shop and just like or the store and just like
Yeah.
went crazy, like ape shit over
Oh.
just random stuff. Like,
That's what I was gonna say. There's a lot of funny Minions outtakes that are just like little short clips of them doing dumb shit. But like,
mm,
I think the one how there's the floating minion gag, right? How he's just like
yeah, he's
floating for
floating.
the rest of his life.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
And I was gonna say another one I thought is Goo's bedtime story. They're like the three little cats or wolves or whatever.
yeah, the
Oh,
cat.
yeah.
That's pretty-
the first one or the second one. This first time
The
he does
first
it. Or the
one's
second?
funny. The first one's funny, but then the second one is funny just because he reads it and he's like, "You actually like this garbage?" or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
That's
straight up
good.
just
You
pulls
call
it
this
out.
literature?
Yeah, something like that. But that's a pretty good meme. We'll see.
No, yeah, that was pretty funny. I was weird because like the vector scenes, like he's just very, very like all the scenes were just either like very comedic or very like serious. Like it was just split between the two because like 1 minute he'd just be like just like dancing or doing dumb stuff, and then like he was talking with his dad, and it just turns into like a completely serious scene. And I just like I don't know. I was just
Feel
like
for it, you know?
it's hard to see if like that's a memeable scene or not because like Vector's just a clown, but like his
Got
dad just tries to
direction
get him to
and
serious.
magnitude.
Yeah.
I'm gonna use that as my segue to the Jar Jar Binks Award because I chose Vector as my most memeable character. I was gonna echo some of the things you said. Everything he does is just kind of like over the top, and it's like sad funny. Like his tracksuits, his haircut, just like his general body shape is like all kind of like a joke.
There's
Yeah.
that one scene where he's like, I forgot the exact wording, but it's like, "What are you wearing?" He's like, "Are you wearing pajamas?" It's like, "No, it's like it's a training suit." It's like, "What are you training for?" It's like a sleepover or something like that. I can't remember the code exactly, but that's just
Yeah.
funny because
There's a little the girl Agnes was like Agnes said that. It was so funny. Yeah.
just roasts him.
And then like all these dumb shit he does, like he like when he given the cookies, he like eats one of the robot cookies and he just
Yeah.
thinks nothing of it. He chomps right into metal and he's just like, okay. And then like the squid launcher.
Oh yeah.
And then like honestly towards the end he should have been killed by the moon. Like he literally got destroyed. Like he got like crumpled by it. And then like he just gets stuck on the moon indefinitely, I guess. The rest in peace Vector, but he was my pick for Jar Jar Binks Award.
Yeah, I don't think there's anyone else. Well, there's a few
Ah,
arguments, but
I would
I have another one. Definitely same reasons.
who's the other one?
I was gonna say Clue is the other one,
Yeah, Gru is the.
but I think
Gru?
Vector is like. I think
You don't
Vector is
think-
just the.
I mean, Vector probably is the biggest one, but I was also thinking maybe Dr. Nefario. Just because like
Yeah.
the stuff he does is just so
I had
like
it for
so
underrated,
clown.
so
It's
I
like
was thinking
old
same.
person humor because like he just can't
It's
hear.
boomer humor.
Yeah, I feel like the fact that takes him away from that though is like towards the end when he's like
He's like
kind
actually
of a
villain.
dick and like actually
Yeah.
just like he
Yeah,
like
he's
sends
just
the
looking
kids
out.
away.
He's looking
and-
out for Goo, man.
Yeah, that's fair. But like I think that's what takes him away from a meme to like a like if he was always just like some random ass character just go around like just mishearing stuff like he said rocket and like he made like an electric socket or something and just like just put that up like I feel like that would make it such a meme. But yeah, I feel like yeah, it would definitely be Vector and then maybe Nefario below that, and then
Fair
Groot.
enough. All right, we can transition then to 5 minutes of internet trivia. So first point I got, directors Pierre, Coffin, and Chris Renaud wrote a language for the entirety of the Minions. They called it Minionese. So
I
every
saw
word
that
the
one.
Minions speak in this movie translates to an actual word. And so I think that's kind of insane.
It's like a mix of like Spanish, French, Chinese, and stuff, right?
Yeah.
I remember I read that something like that a while ago.
But yeah,
It's like the
they voiced a lot
Dothraki.
of the Minions, so you might recognize Kevin and
Famous characters include Kevin, played by this
Yeah.
dynamic duo.
Speaking of the Minions, originally the Minions were supposed to be more like henchmen, so like human-like, but the studio didn't have the money for that, so they redesigned them to be like short. So Minions, as we know it, are only a result of budget.
It's a lot more marketable this way. They
Yeah,
gave
honestly,
me
it is.
this entire operation gave me huge like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory vibes just because the Minions are like Oompa Loompas. Like
That's
they're
one
like
way of putting it.
slaves technically, but like since it's a kids movie, they're like not really slaves, but like come on. He's
I
like,
feel like there's a
when
very
I
fun-
think something we forgot to mention, but like they meet the Minions, they're like, who are these? And he's like, my cousins or something.
And then yeah, he just never like says it. Wait, does he actually call them his minions at any point in the movie?
I think he says.
like,
I think he shouts
mean-
minions every now and then.
Yeah, I think he calls them like minions or something. But he says like my cousins. I just thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I think there's a very fine line that they like had to make sure not to cross because like it could have gone like a different direction if they like went too far, if they stretched the line. But like I think the way that they just like Drew was just always like joking around, like towards the end
He's a
even
good
like
boss. He's a good boss.
yeah,
Just them,
he
like,
was always
having
just like just
fun.
making jokes and like just talking to them like casually.
Yeah, they're
and I
not
think
slaves. They're
yeah,
they like
'Cause
they like working.
I don't even know what he
No,
pays
we
them.
can't-
Like what
we
do they
can't
If
do
do?
if you watch the Minions movie, like I don't recommend you do, but if you do, it goes into like the lore of Minions, and apparently like they're like this like species that like follow the most evil person. And
Oh, okay, so they're
like,
there by their own will.
yeah. So they just like are attracted to the most evil person.
Okay,
so
that's
that's why they
fair,
sort
yeah,
of grew.
Uh,
The Minions movie is a trip, honestly, but
It's pretty
there is
funny.
some lore behind it.
I
pretty
saw there's one scene from the Minions movie that just seems so odd out of context, but they're like in prison and they become like the alpha males in
Yeah,
prison,
yeah.
and it's such a weird scene. Like I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
Or whatever.
So more trivia. The original title for this movie was Evil Me, not Despicable Me. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it. I honestly like. What are your guys' thoughts on the movie, like the title Despicable Me? Because
It's
like it's
good.
not really related to like anything in the movie. There's just that one song
he's
at the beginning.
despicable. He is despicable.
Yeah, but like that's not like
The movie
specific to the
describes
movie.
Drew.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah, but-
know. It's really like it's really weird because like I never really gave thought to the title. Like now by this point I just associate Despicable Me to
Yeah.
like the movies, like the movie, the like Gru and all that. But like I never at the time, I guess since I was a lot younger, I didn't really care or like give it any thought. But I feel like if I watched it for the first time like now, then I feel like that would be like the biggest question, like why is that a thing? But that's cool that like
Because they have a
They actually
song
didn't
at the beginning of the movie that's like Despicable Me.
That's catchy, dude. That song is catchy.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah,
it Happy also from this movie?
that's what I was gonna ask. Like I could have sworn it was, and I
I think
like
it
looked
was
through the
like
whole movie.
the
I couldn't
Is it the
find
second
credits.
one?
Or it might be the second one actually. Because I definitely know there's like a Minions like dance number with Happy. So I think
Yeah.
it might be the second
Yeah.
movie.
Okay.
This is a point that we were talking about last time. We were talking about Illumination Entertainment. This was their first feature film. So like we were talking about in the
French,
Megamind podcast. Yeah, Illumination. This was their first
Mhm.
film. So that's pretty good.
pretty
for
cool.
them.
Definitely was a hit.
Yeah, for sure. Next, while Gru is floating in space when he's like orbiting the moon, we see like the number on Gru's Swan Lake card is 072069. And so this is for July 20th, 1969, the date of the first moon landing, which Gru is seen
yeah.
watching in flashbacks.
Dang.
So, yeah.
Did
Good
not notice
detail. I
that.
didn't see
Little
that.
shout outs to Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Neil. Buzz.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Like, in that one scene where like it's like little Gru, like boy Gru watching
Yeah.
the TV. Like, it's really cool how they brought like the exact like voice of like Neil like speaking on like
Yeah.
From the Moon or whatever. Like, I didn't expect that. I thought it'd just be like a complete meme, like just be like Gru's
That
dad or
scene,
something like that.
that scene is pretty funny because like he keeps doing something. Like Bill's like Rocky, his mom's like, eh.
Yeah.
Last trivia point I had is about the name of Gru. So the theory is that, I don't know if it's a theory because I found it in trivia, so it might actually be real. But like GRU is apparently taken from the Russian military intelligence agency GRU, which is an acronym for, I'm like messed this up completely. It was like Glavinoy Razdolnoy Upolerovani.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
which roughly translates to main intelligence department. And so this is the Foreign Military Intelligence Directorate of the Russian Armed Forces. It's the largest Russian intelligence agency, 6 times larger than what used to be the KGB. And so this may hint at GRU's own origins.
From Russia. Felonies.
I like your
Russian-
version better
Russian
still.
spy.
Dude, I think that's his actual name.
Wouldn't
All
be
right,
surprised.
those are all my trivia. We can go then to most underrated. So, my most underrated scene was what you were just saying. The scene. I said all the scenes honestly with Gru's mom in them.
Yeah.
Like there's
She
like
comes
one at the
back,
beginning.
right?
Yeah, she comes
She
back
comes
in
in
later
the
movies
present,
and
yeah.
like yeah.
No, she comes in the present. Remember, she shows like the baby.
Yeah. She
pictures?
shows up at the end of the movie,
Yeah.
I think. There's
Yeah.
like one scene in the beginning where they're playing Fly Me to the Moon, which I liked as well.
Yeah.
And he's like, Mom, I want to go to the moon. And she's like, oh, I'm sorry. They don't send monkeys anymore.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
And then like, yeah, the building rockets thing, when he keeps building them, he's like, eh. And then I think at the end, what you were talking about was when she's showing like the girls like the pictures of him like in a dress, and she one of them is like, yeah, he's a girl, and she's like, yeah, a very ugly girl, and so his mom's just roasting him like this entire movie. So I thought those are all funny scenes.
Yeah.
I think for me, underrated scene was probably just the like the beginning when he like shows off his like the freeze gun. Like I think that was like the peak of the like the you have to encapsulate the movie in one scene. I feel like that was it. Just because like
Despicable
I
Me
think
songs going on.
Yeah. And like you see his car and you just see him being like a general asshole. It's just like kind of funny.
There's like that one part where like the kids like dropped his ice cream or something,
yeah.
and so he makes a balloon animal for him, and then
he just
pops
for
through.
no reason, yeah. I thought that was pretty good.
Sid, underrated scene.
I gotta think about that because like I feel like there are so many scenes that we've been discussing, and like in terms of like the like most underrated scene that I felt like I liked would probably be actually when like you guys mentioned about the scene where Gru's like trying to escape with the shrink ray with the 2 minions. Like I just feel like that whole concept is just so like comedic in the sense that like they just escape on legit technicalities. Like they like when they fell, like it was just a huge thump at the same time when like the shark kept coming up, and like just the whole like interaction. I was just trying not to laugh at how like just like Vector just did not know what was going on. Just such a weird pose, like weird like mythology of how he just doesn't care. And like towards like the whole time, like beforehand he was like playing with the shrink ray and everything, and then after that he just like forgot about it. And then his dad was like, yo, where's it at? And he was like, oh my god, I lost it. So I just thought that whole like the whole scene was just so funny. And like I know you guys mentioned it a little, but I just feel like it takes a lot more. I think it needs like a lot more credit than it was given for, in my opinion.
For sure. All right. Next up, we have underrated character. So I said my underrated character was Mr. Perkins, who is the bank manager guy.
No.
All right. Let me explain. So Gru, we've established, is 14 feet tall. Perkins is even larger than him and wider. think about what an absolute unit this guy's gotta be. He crushes an apple with his bare hands. And like, other than
Looks
that,
Kingpin.
yeah, like honestly. But like other than that, he like tries his hardest to like prop up his son's career, and it gives him like all this inside information. He's basically like sabotaging Gru, and he basically does everything for his son, and his son just like drops the ball. So like I was trying to say like Mr. Perkins being a good dad. Shout out.
I was gonna say Dr. Nefario. Just because like all his scenes are kind of funny and like low key he has Gru's best interests in mind, you know? He's like trying to help him fulfill his dreams, you know? He does what he gotta do to be a good friend, so Gru like doesn't regret if he does later on. And he's just
I
like a
want to
funny
know.
character.
There should be a Despicable Me like prequel movie where they talk about where he met Dr. Nefario, because like they don't explain that. Like he's just like an old man.
Just shows up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess he lives in his house too.
I gotta go for underrated character. I just gotta go with the minions. I feel like
Oh wow.
this first one, they just didn't focus on the minions that much. Like that's why they
Yeah,
made
but
like a specific movie on them. Like
it's
because everybody
such
was
a-
like begging for them.
that's the thing. It's the most like absurd concept that the Minions came out and everyone loved them. They're like, dude, we should have a Minions origin story, and everyone's like, dude, Minions origin. And then they made one, and everyone just hates. Like, it was just absolutely terrible. Like, you feel bad for the studio because like they had so much like people like you have to make this. They're like, all right, we'll do it, and they're like, this is fucking awful.
No, but I feel like in terms of just like looking at just this movie, like they didn't have as much emphasis on the minions.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah,
it was gonna
Which
be
is
TV,
why I
yeah.
feel like it took a lot of popularity. So like it might not be underrated for a lot of people, but I just feel like in respect to the movie, like it was very underrated, and that's why they started putting more of a
Yeah.
focus on the minions towards
Yeah,
the
they're
next few.
marketable too. That's why.
Because like the only
Yeah.
times the minions are in this movie, and they don't drive plot at all, which I really liked. But like one of the things that they do is just do like short like outtakes to do like little jokes on them, and that's all the role should have been in the movies like
Yeah.
in the future. But I guess they started focusing on them more and more.
Is it like the second movie about like the evil minions or whatever?
No, it's like about how like some guy makes like a serum that like makes minions evil.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it transforms
yeah.
them into like weird
Yeah.
things.
Oh, and
Yeah.
the weird minions, the purple minions.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Underrated aspect. So for me, I said the underrated aspect was a lot of like the voice actors' dedication to their accents. This movie also has an insane cast. I didn't realize. So, along with like all of these like Steve Carell and all of like the people who are like carrying this movie, there's also like a lot of random parts played by well-known people. Like at the beginning of that movie, that tourist mom, that's Mindy Kaling apparently.
Oh
I didn't
shoot!
realize.
I did not know
The
that.
office cast.
And one of the talk show hosts is Ken Jeong. So
That man's like in every movie, so I'm not even
Yeah.
surprised. If
and
you ever
then
need an
this-
Asian influence, he's there.
Yeah, like, he wasn't even an Asian actor or anything. I don't remember who he was,
him
but
and Randall Park got the Asian male on lockdown.
Yeah.
roles.
and then Mr. Perkins, which is the main manager, is Will Arnett, which is
Hey, that's BoJack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Good voice, yeah. Like I couldn't even tell.
Apparently like this is another trivia point that I read about, but like apparently like because he's playing like a wider dude, he like gained like some weight for the part to be, like get
He's a
like
dedicated actor.
a deeper voice. Yeah.
That's
he's
pretty
a great
crazy.
actor. He's a great voice actor. At least I haven't seen him in movies.
Also like apparently they wanted like the actors to like it to be all like improvisational comedy actors, so like that's why Steve Carell and like
Yeah.
Russell Brand are in this and stuff. And so like they all put on little accents and stuff, and like it's to the point where you can't even tell who some of the people are. Like Vector is Jason Segel, which is Marshall
right?
from
Yeah,
How I Met Your
from
Mother.
How I
I
Met
did
Your
not
Mother.
recognize his voice at all.
I didn't recognize that, but yeah.
Jeez.
And Gru's mom is Julie Andrews, which is
What
another
the
like,
heck?
big name.
Yeah.
So they all put on like voices.
Vector's voice is so funny because he's like, oh yeah. That's the fucking
Vector, oh yeah.
yeah. His fucking catchphrases.
That's crazy that all these famous actors and actresses are like just casual characters, and they never show their faces, so you'll never know, I guess,
Yeah,
unless you can tell by their voice.
yeah, that was my underrated aspect.
Yeah. Honestly, I was gonna say the music for the movie's pretty good. Like the fact, I think you said that did they write the Despicable Me song for this movie?
No, definitely not.
No.
It sounded way too good to be written for this movie.
Exactly. Okay. Well, either way, I think the selection then I guess was really good for the score. And then this was when I'm still not sure if Happy is in this movie, but that's like another example. But like throughout the movie, I thought just like the music was pretty well done. It's like very in tune with whenever the movie happens and scenes that are going on. And if
did
they
make it for this movie, it's Pharrell again, but
yeah,
I think
but
Pharrell
like
wrote all the music in this movie, or like at least
big up Pharrell, good job. It's good.
So yeah, I mean that's cool because it ties into what you were saying too, Sujay. Like they just got like all the big names to just like be a part of this one thing, which is really cool.
True.
I don't know, underrated aspect. Like, I mean, I would have to just say like the overall, I guess, like cinematography or like just the way they like made the movie flow, like this all the action scenes and all that. Like it just looks so like fluid and like I don't know, like they had that was like this time when like all these like animated movies were like at their prime, so like it kind of makes sense, but like the fact that like they just put all out, like they went all out on like all the characters, like creating all these dynamic characters and like having like each one of them like have all these like different purposes. And like I didn't even know that apparently the minions were supposed to be like humanoids or whatever. Like that just shows how like how much they took into like the development of each of the characters, which I thought was really cool. But
yeah,
like all of what you guys said was also like pretty overrated or underrated in my opinion.
yeah. I would say like I don't like movies with like dead space, which is just like scenes that are useless or don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this movie, like you're engaged the entire way through. Like I would say like maybe the minion scenes or some of them a little bit dead, but otherwise like you're pretty engaged the whole way through. And it's only like an hour and a half, so it's like pretty good timing wise. All right, then we'll move to the last category, most overrated. So for me, most overrated scene first. I said the first time that like Gru comes back to the carnival and Dr. Nefario gets mad at him. Like I don't really understand why he's mad in that point, because like I feel like that came out of nowhere, because like up until this point Gru's been super focused on the mission, and like just this one day he decides to go to the carnival. And like I get that like, it indicates the start of like Dr. Nefario like not trusting Gru while he's with the children, and but like he has like all these minions to help him, which is why like, I don't really understand why he like was harping on Gru this much. So I think that was kind of just dropped in there.
For me, I was gonna say probably like actually I don't really know if I have one. I'm trying to think because like it's like ties back to what you said earlier, but I don't think there was very much dead space in the movie, and whenever there were the minion jokes, I didn't really think that was like overrated, you know. So I'm gonna go with the controversial. I didn't think there was an overrated scene, but I had other stuff that I thought was overrated. So
For me, I would probably say the most overrated scene was probably like the interactions between Gru and Perkins, like especially the first one. Like I just feel like I don't see the point of why Perkins was so against Gru, like being a not like or like focusing on stealing the moon and like encouraging him and all that, and then like at the last minute he's just like let my son just do everything. Like I feel like it's just like I just feel like they could have done more with Perkins rather than like just like put that part. So I guess that kind of ties into my overrated character as well, just because I like felt like he could have done more. So like I kind of balance both.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just keep
overrated characters, Mr. Perkins.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, point is like I kind of like felt like he was also an overrated character just because like they make him such like a menacing threat. Like he was the driving force behind Vector doing all this because like Vector wanted approval and like Perkins told him about it. But like I just felt like he should have had more of a impact towards the plot. Like at the end, maybe he could have like helped.
He looks like a good villain, yeah.
Yeah, like he could have done more just overall. So that was what I thought. Yeah. But like yeah, that's so I guess both those just interacted with me.
That's a fair point, yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, true. I'll keep going with overrated character then. So I said mine was Agnes, like the youngest girl. I feel like she just kind of gets annoying like as the movie goes on, and she's definitely way more annoying in like the next couple movies. But I like how each girl has like their own personality, as one-dimensional as they are, but the whole like cute baby girl routine just got real old for me fast. And it's like her entire character is just a girl who likes unicorns and says like cute shit every once in a while. So that was for
The
me.
fluffy unicorn was a market point for them, though.
I gotta ask though, do you think it's just Agnes, or do you think the other two also don't like?
I like
I
Margot
think
because she's like the older sister and she's been like kind of taking care of her like other sisters.
Margot's the only one
this
who
whole
like
time.
actually has an actual like role in this movie. I feel like.
I feel like Edith like doesn't do anything really.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
just
think
like
she does more in
it's
later
literally just
movies.
it's just the Powerpuff Girls, man. You can't convince me otherwise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know.
I
I just kind of
guess.
always group them together because like I feel like they're
Gorals?
never apart, right? Like the Gorals,
No,
like
not really.
so like I just associate them as like one character essentially.
Honestly, Edith is like not even does anything because like whenever they need like an emotional scene, they put in the youngest one, and then whenever they need someone serious, they put in the oldest one. Then Edith's kind of just chilling, like doing nothing. Just
She doesn't
even
really do much.
edgelord.
I can't remember if she does anything in the third movie, but like in the second movie, it's more about Margot.
Because
And,
Margot gets like a boyfriend or something. In the
Yeah.
third, so yeah.
but she's give me the Edith spinoff.
Edith. For me, I was gonna say, okay, dude, overrated character is Minions for me. I just think, I mean, like, I know it's easy to hate on, but like, I just feel like a lot of the times, like you said it, they weren't really necessary in the movie. I think the main point that they were there was to sell shit, and like, I can't be convinced otherwise. And I guess they have some funny jokes and stuff, but like sometimes I felt like they were a little forced, and like they did just give unnecessary screen time to Minions when like it could have just been Gru and like the girls.
Did you add like a certain amount of like just filler, I guess, to the movie? Because like if it was just Gru, I feel like it would get like all right, like kind of like boring. But like the
I
way
like
he
a break
interacts
from
with
the
them
Gru
is like a
scene.
nice like.
Yeah, I mean, my main complaint with them is that they were, I feel like they were especially made just to be toys, and like it worked, but
Yeah. All right, we'll go to the last one then. Overrated aspect. All right, mine's kind of like one of the key elements of the plot, but it's Gru's financial state.
yeah,
So like
that's a big one.
Yeah.
So one of the key like elements of the plot is that Gru needs a loan from the bank because he can't finance this endeavor on his own. But my question is like, how is Gru currently financing his lifestyle? Because like he has this big ass home, he has a huge secret lair which looks like it uses like a ton of power and like resources. He's got like hundreds of minions that he has to feed, and he's like, let alone these 3 girls that he just adopted. And like I feel like he doesn't really do anything. Like
No.
you can say like these heists give him money, but like he hasn't pulled a heist in like a long time.
No,
And
the
he
thing
definitely has too
that you're
much
forgetting is he literally gets the money that he thought he would need from a loan. Like you don't go to a bank to get a loan for like $100. You go if you're trying to get something big, which makes sense. He's building a rocket, and he finances to build an entire rocket by himself, like full controls, full every like. Do you know how expensive a rocket is to
like
build?
the way they say that is like
It's,
he
like,
like
huge.
stole random
It's
shit
huge.
around his house, but like
Yeah, like how much random shit does he have to finance a space program? Like, jeez.
yeah.
That is a key. That is a very big, overrated aspect.
You
Like,
just gotta accept that Gru's just fucking loaded, I guess.
Then why did he need a loan in the first place if he could have just
I don't
financed it
know.
himself?
That is, yeah. For me, I was gonna say that my overrated aspect is a corporate greed and the fact that they decided to make more movies. Like, I stand by this, but most movies that have a sequel, like I think it's common knowledge, like the sequel is just worse. And I think like, okay, like fine, I guess you have to do that. You picked up big. And then same with the Minions movie, I guess. But I'm pretty sure, along with do they have a show or something?
I'm not
I
sure.
don't think so. Or I
I
don't
think
know.
there's like
I
there's
know they're
some
coming
sort
out
of
with a second Minions movie.
yeah, but like okay, again, like tying back to my point, I think they like kind of ruined it by just oversaturating the whole Minions thing, and like just I don't know, if you know what I mean. Like I thought they could have just stopped at one, and everything would have been good.
They definitely wouldn't have stopped at one. Like
They wouldn't
it's
have,
such a
I know, which is
marketable
why
thing.
it's a big thing that it's just like I know it wouldn't happen. It's all companies do it, so I can't really blame them. But
I mean, yeah, it was a hit at the time. You can't like blame them for trying.
I can't blame
to
them,
make
but
better.
I will continue to say that that's my overrated aspect. That they could if that just stopped there, it would have been a way better movie.
I don't know. I don't think I can think of an overrated aspect of it. That's like, I mean, obviously, like what you guys said was like pretty big. Like, I just can't think of a third, like, or another one that like really sticks out to me. I mean, like, just like in terms of like the plot, even the plot, like I could have maybe like usually most movies, like most kids' movies, have like the same exact plot. But like this is one of those movies that's like sticks out because like it's like a bad person becoming good, and like at the time that wasn't like that big of a thing. But maybe I might lean towards that just because like you were saying that Megamind came out around the same time, like
Yeah, like a
that
year
might have been
after.
like a trend. Yeah, so like maybe I could say like the plot was a little overrated just because like it was on that focusing only on that aspect, like that he just becomes a good guy towards the end, like he just grows a conscience once he sees kids. But
I had an
I
honorable
wouldn't be
mention
too
for
strong about that. What were you saying?
overrated. I had an honorable mention for overrated aspect. Um,
Oh,
I said Gru is really cavalier with the lives of his minions. There's like,
Hey, I mean,
there's like when
gotta do
the
what you gotta
floating
do.
gun thing, like that was like the peak of it. But like he literally just shoots it when he flies out the window. He's like, "Huh, I should have closed that," and he just doesn't care after that. But like, yeah, and then like he just shoots his minions with like the shrink ray and like all of his like inventions and stuff. So I feel like if you cared this much about the minions, you should care more about their lives. Minions' lives matter.
Oh no.
yeah,
That's mine.
that's a fair one. Yeah, I don't know. I just couldn't think of anything, but yeah, those are
Yeah,
good
sorry.
arguments.
All right. Does anyone have anything else to say about the movie as a whole? I think this is like a solid movie. Like it's definitely like like good like trendsetter. Like it's not, I would say, like as good as like Megamind or Shrek 2 or the DreamWorks movies that we've done, but it was definitely a staple in the DreamWorks community.
It for sure was. Like it definitely set a role for like a lot of kids like and I guess other like people as well like just fell in love with it and just like it's just like one of those movies that'll always be like a referenceable movie in times to come. So
True. All right, but otherwise, thanks for being on the show, Sid, Girish.
thank you. Thank you for having
Thanks
us.
for watching. Thank you for listening to our episode on Despicable Me. If you haven't already, please give us a follow on whatever platform you're listening to this on, and also follow our Instagram at Overrated Podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, please hit us up with a like and subscribe. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week. This has been Overrated.